Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and to another dive into the madness that is my imagination. I don't know where this creature came from, but she exists now, so here she is. Her name is Liadan, which is an ancient Norwegian name, a pagan name for Grey Lady, which I figured once I'd finished her and actually figured out what I had created, I thought the name suited her. I'm going to start with my armature wire. I literally just wrapped a load of wire around the top of this lovely little birdcage tea light holder that I picked up off of Amazon. I will leave a link in the description of where I bought it from, so you can grab your own if you want to make one. And then I'm going to hold everything together with a ton of epoxy sculpt. I do this, I think I prefer this method over super glue. Super glue, yes, it will be a lot quicker, so if you're wanting to do it faster, then use super glue. But I would rather wait the 24 hours, and this stuff like dries rock solid once it's cured, so your armature isn't going to move after you've put it on. So yeah, I prefer epoxy sculpt, but super glue will work, and you could also use polymer clay. Once my epoxy sculpt had completely cured, I wanted to get on with the fun bit, you know, using my polymer clay. I use two different types of polymer clay. The pink clay is super sculpey original, and when you see me using any of the brown clay, that's my cos clay. I use that just on like the really fragile areas, but generally I'm using just the super sculpey original. I just begin with like bulking out her basic shape. I wanted her to look quite thin and ancient looking, so I didn't need to use any like tin foil this time, because quite often I bulk everything out using tin foil, but this time I just went straight onto the armature wire and bulked out all the basic shapes first, just using my polymer clay. This was the bit where I was having a real I need to trust the process moment, because at some point this kind of really looked like a strange mixture between Squidward, plankton, and some strange insect. I really had issues at this point where I was just like, oh my good God, what am I making? And I had no idea at this point where my sculpture was going either, because I was just making. I was just enjoying the process of making. I had no idea what I was making at the time. So yeah, it was one of those moments where I was just like, hopefully it will turn out all right. Thankfully she did end up with a face. And because she's a mystical creature from another realm of the Fae folk, I could literally make her into whatever I wanted. And I was kind of going for creepy pretty, you know, my standard MO where it comes to sculpting. And I think I got there in the end. It was just it was a process. I had no idea what I was making. Originally the 2 antennae were supposed to be horns, which I then decided I wanted to turn into wings, and then I decided that I wanted to add more wings. So yeah, it became a process. I was learning as I was going. You may have noticed that I've left like a strange loop at the top of her head. There is a reason for that. I want to be able to hang her later on. I probably should have mentioned that right at the beginning when I was making the armature, but I've only just noticed it now as I'm running through my video doing my recording. So I'm telling you now. To make her wings, I haven't quite decided whether they are head wings or ear wings. They could be either. I don't know what they are. But to make them, I literally just bent the armature wire into the general shape of a wing and then sort of sandwiched the armature wire between 2 bits of clay that were wing shaped. I also decided to go and add some more armature wire through her unbaked head because I wanted another set of wings, a smaller set. This is what happens when you haven't actually planned any of your sculpture and you just sculpting for the love of sculpting. You just change things as you go. And then I went on to start the very first of what was, or what felt like, 50 million feathers. I was making feathers for days. So if you are going to recreate something like this, it's going to take you a long time. You're going to have to be patient with yourself, which I very much lost a lot of that patience by the end of it. Yeah, it was a process. So if you're going to make something similar, be prepared for the many, many, many hours of feather making. Quick tip to make lots and lots of teeny tiny feathers: use the protector cap off of your paintbrush like I am. It saves so much time. I needed the birdcage part to still be accessible so that I could put a candle inside my sculpture, so it was still functional. So I used my clay all the way around the edge of where the bend is, and all the time that I was sculpting I kept checking to make sure that it would open, I wouldn't be knocking any of the stuff that I'd already sculpted. So if you can do this and you've got something that opens similar to this one, then you'll need to keep checking yours too. To make sure Liadan was given a little bit of dignity and that I also didn't get a YouTube monetization strike, I went with some strategically placed feathers. To make a hair, I just went with a simple braid. If you have no idea how to do a simple braid, there are like 60 kajillion YouTube videos out there on how to plait hair. Or you can find another human with long hair and practice on them before spending hours rolling clay out over and over again to practice with that. That's my best advice that I can give on how to do a braid. After spending what felt like an absolute lifetime, it was finally time to sculpt something other than feathers. I went on to the hands. I normally start with like 2 large-ish corn-shaped bits of clay and then sort of jam on the fingers. Luckily with a creature like this, you can literally make the hands however you want to make them. Because I hate making hands. It's like, hence the reason why it was one of the last things that I sculpted. I genuinely hate sculpting hands. It's just the bane of my life is hands. So yeah, if you're going to do a fantasy creature, you can have the hands as big or as small or as long or as gangly as you like. I went with long and gangly. They do not need to look perfect because they are fantasy hands. So don't ever sit there and think you've got to spend hours and hours on something that you hate doing, because you can make it look however you want it to look. It's a fantasy creature. That's the rule that I'm going off of anyway, because I absolutely hate sculpting them. They're so tiny and fiddly, and then you've got to do knuckles, and oh god, it's so small. I'm not very good with sculpting small stuff, as we figured out on my last miniature video. Once I finished sculpting my teeny tiny little bird, there was some sort of symbolism. There was a reason for the little bird. I wanted, you know, this dark, scary looking creature to have some sort of connection to Mother Nature. So I thought it would be quite nice to have her holding a bird, being as she's a bird cage. I just attached the little bird using a broken cocktail stick into her hand, teeny tiny piece. It just made sure that the bird was nice and stable. Then I finished adding in all of my tiny little details like the jewellery, and popped her in the oven for a final bake. I'm doing something a little bit different this week. I'm using different paints. I'm using some Vallejo Model Air paints. They're supposed to be for my airbrush, and I've had these paints for over a year. They've just been sat on my shelf, and I've been too frightened to use them because they cost an arm and a leg. So I thought I would give them a go, and actually I really love these paints, and I wish I had used them sooner. So I'm not using my usual Arteza today. I am using Vallejo. While my painting montage is going on, I just want to take a minute to say that I can't believe that my channel has almost hit 2,000 subscribers. There is literally 2,000 people out there that are watching my content, and I just can't express how wow that is to me. I am literally just a little girl in the middle of England that likes to sculpt things. So the fact that I have 2,000 people out there, or almost 2,000 people out there, watching my channel is so amazing. So I just want to take a minute to thank every single one of you for your time and for coming to watch my content. But I also have a favour to ask of all 2,000 of you. I have a friend across the pond that has a YouTube channel that creates the most amazing things. His name is Clayformations. I will leave a link down in the description, and he makes some really cool stuff, and he's about to hit 1,000 subscribers. So I would like to ask if you could go over to his channel and just watch some of his videos. They are amazing. My favourite is this wonderful little moon. It's so adorable. So yeah, just pop over to his channel after you finish watching this video, obviously, because you need to stay here first. But yeah, pop over to his channel, have a look at what he creates, because it's just amazing and it's so well thought out, and he has got some crazy cool creations. And if you like the stuff that I make, you are going to love what he can make. So yeah, do take a minute to pop over and have a look at what he's doing. While I finish up my paint job, I just wanted to share with you some work that was sent to me over on my Facebook page. This tiger is absolutely amazing. How you got all that fur done, I feel for you. I've literally just done 6 kajillion feathers, so I know how long that fur has taken. So absolutely amazing job. And I also wanted to share this with you. I can't believe how perfect those Celtic knots are. I can't do that. I have tried sculpting Celtic knots. It's impossible. So well done to both of you, and thank you for sharing your work with me. If you would like to share your work with me, then please do tag me over on Facebook or Instagram at Pixie Wolf Designs. And with that being said, the last few strokes of paint are on and Liadan is finished. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this entire video. It was quite a long one, so thank you for taking the time to watch. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and all that wonderful stuff, because I love a new subscriber. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!